Just a few more moments. Also, too, feel free to ask a question, raise your hand if you didn't understand something, or and if I'm not able to answer it, it's a little, it takes a little bit more time, I'll let you know, because sometimes answers are not just given, and sometimes I don't have the answer, which is the truth. Sometimes I don't have the answer. Sometimes I have to go back and look at the context of the scripture to find out whether or not what I was saying was correct. I do my very best to, look at things and try to understand them. But all of us need to, remain in a very humble way when we're talking about the Most High. We can't be very cavalier about what we know. So, if you hear me make a mistake too, make sure that you, chat me up and let me know, hey, Akika, I heard that and just didn't sound right, or could you explain it to me, right? Hafa, yes, what's up? I see your hand, Aki.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, like I told you before, for myself, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's on Zoom right now can appreciate that, you being honest, knowing that I don't have an answer all the time, but I'll get back to you. You doing the research, you doing, the studying, and, you breaking it down, to us, and, having that open dialogue to where, you want us to, participate, ask questions, break stuff down with me. If I don't see something, point it out. We're all in it together. We're all trying to learn. So I can appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody on who's watching, who's attending right now can appreciate it too. And those who did leave, they just was too sensitive. When you do bring it out, and when you do break it down and be stern with it. So yeah. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. Yeah, so thank you for that, Kent. I appreciate that. I'm understanding too that it's a process. The book of Deuteronomy, we're literally at the end of this in particular Torah cycle. We only have a few more chapters to go, and then we'll be to go into, back into Genesis again. So we've also been going through a cycle here. And so I always want to remind you that when Moshe is speaking in the book of Deuteronomy, okay, it's only one day. Everything that we've heard over the last several weeks, he was telling them that in one day. The understanding the Torah, when you look at the book of Ezra, and it said that they went over the Torah when they went back into the land, and he went and he instructed them, Ezra, the Torah teacher, the scribe. He read the Torah to them, and he read it for a good part of the day. The Torah, in essence, is literally like a 6 to 8 hour study. That's literally what it is. But you look at how we're studying, we're breaking it down over time, right? So this is the beautiful thing about the Torah. The Torah is literally your treasure. This is what the Most High wants us to see, is that the Torah is the treasure that Yah has given to us. It's Yah's mercy. It's Yah's mercy. That's why we're supposed to bless the Torah. That's why we can bless the Most High, you see. And we're going to talk about those things today. So let me go ahead and get started so I won't be so long-winded because I like to talk, right? So, and also too, I get a little, what they would say, nervous, because often I think, okay, well, what does the Most High really want us to understand? Is this Dawid talking, or is this something that the Most High is talking? Is this a study that I decided to come up with, or is this something that's been inspired by the Most High? Often when I put these slides together, I put things together, and I don't even know why I'm trying to make sense of it. Like, okay, well, if this goes with this, this goes with this, this goes with that. And sometimes I put things in here that I just don't understand. Like, why am I saying this? Why is this something that I'm being driven to say? So there's going to be things in here today that, a lot of things, the whole thing itself, you have to understand that it's inspired by study. It's inspired by things that have happened during the week that allows me to be able to see these things. Our Torah portion this week has been called Ki Tavo, and that's how you say it, Ki Tavo. and it means when, when you go or when you come. That's what it means, Tavo. When you come or when you go into the land. The root of that word is called bo, right? Which consists of two letters, which is the parent root. I always begin our Torah off or our lessons off with understanding the Hebrew language because that's the key. This is the key to understanding the culture. This is the key to understanding what the Most High is talking about. These people called the children of Israel are a special people. And they had a special, way about themselves, and Yah had worked with them dealing with agriculture, right? So everything that we're talking about has to do with a certain type of people in a certain type of land, in a certain type of environment, certain type of clothes, certain type of food, certain type of how they're supposed to respond and live. So this is really about living. Again, the first letter of that word, bo, is a bet. Okay. Sometimes you see the bet without this, what they would call, I call it a dot, but it's really called a dagesh, a little dot in the inside. Okay. So you'll get that in there. And without it, it's still a bet. It just has a different sound. And we know that the letter bet, okay, means, as you all know, or some of us know, it means a house. It means a house. Okay. And so that's part of this word to come or to go, right? And there's also an extended meaning that we're going to get to a little bit later, but it means a house. And so we have to find out what it's talking about. A house could be a tent, back in the nomadic times, there was the tent, and it had tent doors, it had tent walls, and it separated the inside from the outside. And, it was a place of safety. It was as a dwelling for what you would say the family. This is where the family dwelt. Okay. So this word Tavo or bo, right, means when you come or when you go. Well, when who goes? When you move your establishment and your dwelling place, I'm about to switch over and give you a different dwelling place. You've been living with me in tents. You've been living in the wilderness for 40 years. You've been living under some different circumstances. You've been living in a different environment. You've been living in 100% dependency on me. I've provided your food, which is the manna. I've provided your water. I've provided your protection. For what? For your family. But now I'm about to move and you're about to come. I'm about to bring you into the land that I promised you. The letter bet also too has a grammatical meaning as well. It means within. Okay. It also can mean on. Right. That it can also mean on. It can mean in. It can mean with. It can mean within. It has all these different meanings. It can mean of. So there's a whole variety of different meanings that can be associated with this letter. It's very, very powerful. And sometimes it gets overlooked because we're just looking at the word to come, right? And to come or to go. And to come and to go is it's easy. We walk, we go places, we get in our cars, we travel. We do all those sorts of things. But here in the text, in the Hebrew text, it has a greater significance than what we're used to. Also, too, it means inside, because that's where the family dwells on the inside. This actual letter, too, is used for, your sons and your daughters. What I mean by that, for example, you got the word bane, and that's a son. Okay, you got a bat, okay, or bath, which is a daughter. Okay, you got the word to build, which is banah. Okay, you have all these different words. You got words that have to do with what's it called? No, so wasn't going to understand. You have the word understanding that has to do with the letter bet. Okay, because you need understanding in order to build. And so what we're talking about is we're building a family, because that's where you have sons and you have daughters. And you need to be able to establish something for them. And so when we look at this, we understand that we are Yah's sons and we're his daughters. And what he's concerned about is our families. And he wants our families to live a certain way. He's concerned about what's not only on the outside of the tent and the family, he's also concerned with what's on the inside. Okay. Because the inside and the outside have to match. If the inside and the outside doesn't match, then that's what you call a contradiction. So when we're living our lives and we're representing the Most High, that which is in us has to be reflective on the outside. This is the reason why he tells us to wear our tzitzits. This is the reason why he tells you don't, wear the different linens mixed with cotton and so forth and so on. We're a special people and we have a special diet. And so it's not much just on the outside, it's what you put on the inside. And what's on the inside has to be reflected on the outside. When we have the inside and the outside matching one another and becoming complete, it's really called echad. You become one with Yah. Because Yah is Echad. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Yahweh is Echad. Okay. The first word is Shema, meaning to listen and to obey. Okay. The last letter of that word, okay, so I'll just put it right here. Shema. Forgive my handwriting. Shema. And then he says he's Echad, right? Shema Echad. Okay. So Shema means listen and obey. And then you have Echad, I'm one, right? The last two letters right there are these. And when you look at those letters, one is an ayin, which has to do with the eye. And the next one is a door. I'm all over the place, but forgive me. And so it's the eye of the door, and the eye of the door makes you a witness. And that word ad actually means witness. So you and I are witnesses to Yah's oneness. And the only way that we can achieve this reliable witness and his reliable testimony is the way that we live our lives. That's the only way that you and I can pull this off. The only way that we can show the world that Yah is one is being oneness in mind, oneness in purpose. That's the reason why there's only one Torah. In order to be an effective witness and be able to have a testimony that's true, Yah says you need more than one witness in order for something to be justified. So if your household doesn't have two people that are standing up and being witnesses for the Most High, then your testimony won't even, you can't do it alone. That's the point. Echad doesn't mean to be alone. Echad means to be unified. Listen to me what I just told you. Echad doesn't mean being alone. It doesn't mean being alone. It means to be unified. And we miss that. Yes, it means one in a sense of, his actual word, right? One, but it means unity. That's all. It means to unite. And so we see the Most High is unifying himself with the children of Israel. And the way that he unifies himself with us is through the words that he's given to us. This is the only way that you and I will be connected to the Most High, is through his voice and through the commandments, which is his voice. Okay. So understand that the inside of us is just as important as the outside, and they have to be unified. Okay. They have to be. And if they're not, it's a contradiction and you won't be able to achieve the echad. Okay. And that's what we're after. The letter Aleph, as you know, means an ox. You can look at the picture of the Aleph and you can just imagine, the ancient was like this, right? So when you look at that, it kind of looks like that because this right here is his head and these are his horns. See? And so they've taken this picture and they changed it into this picture because all this letter literally is, everyone, is a picture. So they had a picture graph of that for an ox. And they said, well, what can we do? And over time, they changed the picture to a letter that looks like that. So letters are just pictures, see? And so one of the things that I've learned in the Hebrew language is when I'm looking at these letters, right, I'm thinking about this picture. I say that's an ox head. So when I see letters or words that have an aleph on it, that means strong. It means an ox. It means something that has to do some work. It means something that has to be strong enough to do the work, right? Because that's what it represents. It represents strength. And it's not just talking about the strength of, the physical strength. We all have our physical strength, but as you know, when you get older, your strength starts to diminish. You get like me. I used to be a bodybuilder, right? Look at me now. You won't even say this guy was a bodybuilder, right? I used to be benching, 300 pounds, squatting 425, 20 times in a row. I used to be on it. throwing the iron all over the place, making people in the gym scream, all kind of stuff. But that's not the strength that I have today. The strength that Yah wants us to have is the mental fortitude. Even if an ox was strong, he still has to be obedient. He still has to be willing to follow the path in which his master guides him. So for us, our strength has to come from Yah, and it has to be something that comes through the mind, something that a lot of us have not been told and have not have been taught. You know, when I was raising my son, I was just always trying to get him not only to be mentally strong, but be physically strong too. And so I was bent on, you know, thinking a certain way. I'm very, what you would say, I'm very strategic when it comes to different things. You know, he was a wrestler, so I used to try to think about ways to isolate muscles and all kind of stuff just so he can have the victory. And I believe that one of the things that the Most High wants us to develop is this idea of strength mentally to be able to endure the things that we're going to be enduring and the challenges, because we're going to have challenges as we go through our life. You're going to need power from the Most High, and the Most High gives us power through his commandments and through his words. A big part of this letter right here in the Aleph has to do with being a leader. You know, like when it mentions the ox, because that is the picture that we have here. When you look at this is the ox. When you have the ox had to be able to lead. Okay, they had to go from one destination, say they're right here, and they have to go all the way to this next destination right here. And they'd have to plow out the field all the way across, and it had to be a straight line till they get to their mark, or what you would say their destination. Now, often this ox would do it by itself, but then you're not only going to have one ox, you're going to have two. If you have two oxen, you'll be able to get more work done. So what they would do is they would get a baby ox, and I'll put them in another color right here. And then what they would do is they would connect the baby ox to the older ox, okay? And they would put a yoke on those oxen. They will yoke them up together. And this word yoke means to learn, okay? So they would take the older, more experienced ox, the papa ox, and connect it to the baby ox, and then teach the baby ox or the younger ox how to walk this path. They would show them the way and the direction and how to go. So this idea of the Most High as being our leader and as being our commander and as being our teacher, he's the one who says, I'm going to teach Yisrael on how to walk. I'm going to yoke myself to these people, and I'm going to show them how to walk, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done that I want to be done on the earth. And so, you know, from what do they call it, allegorical situation, or this is a great example of what the Most High is talking about. What he does, he yokes himself to the younger, inexperienced ox, and he leads them and teaches them on which way to go. All the paths of Yahweh are righteousness and justice. The work that we have to do is of righteousness and justice in the earth. And we haven't known how to do that because we haven't had a relationship with the Most High over the last several thousands of years. One that's of any consequence to, you know, cause us to be able to accomplish the work that needs to be done. In our Torah portion, it says that you are agreeing today that Yahweh your Elohim is your Elohim. That's what you're agreeing to. You're agreeing that he's your Elohim and that you will follow his ways. That means that they had made a decision. That's what they agreed to, because everything that we're in right now is about an agreement. There's no way to be in a relationship with our Creator, the King of the universe, without an agreement. Just like the curses that we're experiencing today is because of an agreement that we've made, okay? So he said, you're agreeing. How many times have Israel agreed to saying everything that you said will do? Well, this in the Torah portion, we see that they're agreeing again. Again. So this is like the fifth time that they're agreeing to follow Yah, to make him their Elohim. That's not of any anything to be, you know, to look at as a small thing. When one is to take Yah as their Elohim, that means that you're agreeing to follow his ways. That means that you're agreeing to be yoked up with the Most High and being taught, because that's what the Most High wants to do. He wants to yoke you to himself so you can learn how to follow his ways. The ways of righteousness is the ways that are straight. They're not crooked. Yah's ways are not crooked. That means that there's only a certain path that you and I are to take. If we don't follow this path that Yah has prescribed, then we get off the path. And when we get off the path, the Most High calls that in particular individual a wicked person. A righteous person is the one who stays on the path that Yah has prescribed. Okay. And he uses the Torah as the way to lead us and to instruct us. Okay. And so this person who's following Yah's ways and following him, meaning they're being led by Yah, not just doing it on their own, they're actually being taught. He says they're guarding his laws and his commandments and his rulings, and always listen to his voice. That's been the challenge for Israel as a people, is that they haven't been willing to really listen. You know, they'll hear what he's saying, but they're not listening. See, there's a difference. Listening means obedience. Sometimes we hear Yah saying what he's saying, and we read the Torah, we hear it, but are we really listening? And our Torah portion is, we get told, Moses and the children of Israel, or more specifically the Kohanim, when they addressed Israel, they told them to be quiet. I don't have a slide for it. I said, well, I already have enough slides, but they told them to be quiet. And when I thought about that, I said, okay, well, what are they saying? Are they just telling them to be quiet? No, it's literally telling them to silence their souls so you can hear what I'm about to tell you. You have to silence your own voice so you can hear Yah's voice. You have to put everybody else's voice out of your range. You're not supposed to listen to anyone else. The only voice that you need to listen to is Yah's voice. If you're not listening to Yah, then who are you listening to? And believe me, I suffer with this. As your brother, I tell you the truth. There's a lot of other, and I'm not saying that I'm being moved by other people. I'm saying that there's so many other things that are being said. It's things you can't even get away from. If I was to sit here and say, I'm 100% always thinking about Yah and this and that and the other, then that's not true. I got other stuff going in my ears, the stuff that I can't even help. Like, I'm watching the news. That's not harmful, but I'm listening to other things. I'm taking in information, and also too, while we're in exile, it just makes it very difficult. So we need to be honest with ourselves to know that following Yah and listening to his ways and guarding his commandments and his rulings and always listening to his voice is going to be challenging, because we're in a position right now that makes it very, very difficult to be able to do this. That's what I'm saying. The Aleph also too means a chief. Not only that it's the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet that represents the chief of all letters, it's the first of all letters. Okay. It's a chief. Just like Israel is going to be the chief of the nations. When you think of the word Aleph, it means 1,000. It means the chief. When you think of the word Elohim, it means the gods, the leaders. Okay. And he even calls man an Elohim. Okay. Elohim. When you got an Elohim, the first letter is an Aleph. When you talk about sending someone somewhere, it's called El, to go towards somewhere. It's the strong staff. The person who has a strong staff is the chief. The chief can be the chief of the tribe, the clan, or the family. You can be a chief over at your job. You're the leader. So this is a very strong letter. Okay. When he talks about this letter about being the chief, it says in turn, in your Torah portion, it says in turn, Yahweh is agreeing today, because you've agreed that he will be your Elohim. So Yah's making an agreement. And this is significant. This is actually pretty extraordinary. Today, the Yah, that you are his own treasure. That's what Yah agreed to. He agreed to you to be his treasure, as he promised you, right? For what purpose? That you are to observe all his commandments, and that he will raise you high above the nations he has made. That's significant. Not only in raising you high above all the nations that he has made, but listen to this. He's making you not only high in reputation, okay, in praise, but reputation and glory. And that he has said, you will be Kadosh for Yahweh your Elohim. This is something that Yah has agreed to. This is something that Yah says, I'm going to do for you. Yah's not asking you and I to be in a relationship with him that's one-sided. Yah, as a treasure, Yah is saying that I cherish you. I want you to know that today. I want you to know that I treasure you. I guard you, because that's what you do with a treasure. When you have something of great value, you hide it and you preserve it and you do everything in your power to protect it. Therefore, you treasure it. And the Most High is saying that I treasure you as a people. And that's because I promised you that. And I promised that I would do this for you. I made some promises to you. And so when you make a promise to me, I'm going to keep my promise to you. I want you to keep your promise to me. I want you to listen to what I'm saying to you. And if you do this, then I'm going to raise you high above all the nations in praise and reputation and glory. And that, as he has said, you will be kadosh. Be kadosh to Yahweh, or for your Elohim, means that I have set you apart from all other peoples on the face of the earth. When I made the nations, I was thinking about you. I decided to call you Elyon. Oh, you better hear what he's telling us today. I called you Elyon. What's that, Kika? I know you just went over the letter Aleph. So why are, this? I thought Elyon might begin with an Aleph to mean strong. No. It's something else. Yah's not only wants you to be strong, right? Check this out. This letter right here means the eye, okay? And this letter right here means the staff, okay? And this one right here means the hand, okay? And this is the connection, okay, for the tent peg. And that's the connector, or the connection. And this one right here is the final noon, which is the seed of to continue, okay? So all these let me get my writing together for you so you can look at it. To continue, okay? I want the seed to continue, all right? So when Yah says, I'm gonna raise you high, I'm gonna lift, this word here means to raise up. That means to lift you up high. So if the nations are here, right, they're down here, I want you up here. Okay, I want you to see the staff. I want you to see it. Okay, I want you to see it. I want you to see the staff, because that's what all means. But all also means yoke. Okay, so I'm using you. Listen, I'm going to use you to be Elyon. I'm going to put a staff on you. I want everybody to see what I'm going to do with you. I want them to use their eyes. I want the nations to see, because that's the eyes are for, to see. I want the nations to see the authority that I have by putting it on you. You're the one that I chose. You're the one that I grabbed by my hand and I took out of the land of Egypt. You're the one that I handpicked out of all the nations. You are these people. That's who you are. And that's what I'm doing. Because when I put my hand on you, I'm thinking about how I'm going to have your family, because that's your seed is your sons and your daughters. I want your sons and the daughters to continue. I want to be able to bless you. I want your family to be lifted up high. I'm about to raise you up high, above. The word all here also too means above or upon. I'm making you high above all the nations. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you to give me praise. I want you to understand, if I lift you up, there's something that you have to do. I want you to understand that if I'm lifting you up above all the nations, you got to do something, because the relationship goes two ways. It's like, I'm not calling you a treasure and calling you Elyon, because that word where I'm going to lift you above means Elyon. When I lift you up as Elyon, I'm telling you something. I want you to understand it. I want you to understand that I'm Elyon. I want you to know that I'm Elyon. When Elyon gave each nation its heritage, when he divided the human race, he assigned the boundaries of the peoples according to Yisrael's population. But Yahweh Sher was his own people. Yaakov, his allotted heritage. When Yah made the nations, as he told us in the Torah portion, he said, when I made these nations, I've decided, because his name is Elyon, I decided that when I gave each of these nations its heritage, meaning its land, when I gave it its resources, when I gave it its water supply, when I gave it its rivers and its streams and its animals. And as you notice, each one of the lands that we go to has a different landscape. Everyone doesn't hold all the same resources. See, so some might have these minerals and other ones won't. This over on this part of the land, it has this, on this one, it doesn't. So the Most High says, of all the lands that I have, I've given you the best of all the lands. Why? Because you are my share. You're my own people. You're the one that I took out of these people. That's what I'm saying to you. Our relationship is different than it is with the nations. The nations to me are nothing. They're like, they mean nothing to me in the sense that, not that I don't care about, I care about them, but when it comes to Israel, I'll kill every last one of them. All whole nations responsible. I hold them responsible. Jeremiah chapter number 18. They sin against me. Well, they never got his Torah, right? No, they got some rules. You do something you don't supposed to be doing, so Yah's holding everybody accountable to what they know. That's why he's holding us responsible, because he says, you're the only nation that I even know intimately. I don't know any other people except for you. No other people's ever heard my voice. No other people have seen my fire on Mount Sinai. No other people did I go and take out of another nation. No other people did I open up the Red Sea. No other people have ever ate the bread that came out of the manna of heaven. No other people. No other one has I stretched out my hand and poured out fierce fury on other nations and destroyed their gods. No other people. You see? So this is the people of Yah. They're a special heritage to him. And therefore, because I'm giving you the best of all the lands, of all the heritages, I'm going to tell you that you need to be the best. This is something that you have to raise yourself up to. If you are, when I call you Elyon, I'm saying that you need to be above. Just like Yah himself is above. Elyon means to be above. It means to be raised high. That's why this word Elyon is called the Most High, because he is the Most High. So literally the Most High is saying, I'm raised up high. I want my people to be lifted up high. I want you to be raised up. You're going to have to live above everyone else so they can learn from you. Because part of that word Elyon there is the Aleph and the Lamed, which is a yoke. So once I finish working with you, then I'm going to put the yoke on the nations, and you're going to be the one, you're going to be the ox then, the older, more experienced ox is going to teach the nations, the baby ox, and I'm going to yoke you to them, and you're going to teach them. I hope everybody's seeing this today. I hope we're understanding what Yah is doing with us and what the goal is. The goal is, and always will be, is to learn so we can teach the nations on how they must follow the Most High and how they can do the work and the service for the mighty Yah. That's the responsibility that's given to us as his children and as his people. To Helene, Dawid said this, I give thanks to Yahweh with all my heart. I will tell about your wonderful deeds, and I will be glad and exalt in you. I will sing praise to your name, Elyon, because Yah is lifted up high. He's exalted high. We need to sing praise to Yah. We need to lift our hearts up to Yah, right? Why is he saying this? Because he understands who Elyon is. He's understanding that he's the Most High. There's no one above him. Everything is beneath the Most High. Again, that word that we were talking about is called bow. You know, like a bow tie, you know, or like a bow that you use to do a bow and arrow. Okay, it's a bow. That's how you say it. Okay, the word itself, though, means to have an entrance, but also too, it has this idea of being void. It means a void. So when the Most High is talking about, ki Tavo, right? That Tavo right there is that Tav in the front. That means you. You got a void. When Yah took Israel out of Mitzrayim, there was a void in their lives. What they were looking for, everyone, is security, which all human beings are. Israel as a human race is no different than any other peoples on the face of this planet. This is the reason why he chose us. It's simply because everything that we're experiencing, all the other nations are experiencing. They are in their own way. They're looking for good leadership. They're looking for righteousness. They're looking for it. It hasn't been given to them because we failed to do our job. Okay. When Yah talks about bringing them somewhere, he's talking about filling a void. There's a void that needs to be filled. That's the reason why I'm asking you to come or to go somewhere. It's because you need to go and fill the void. Okay. The Most High is destroying the people of the land because they were unrighteous and they were wicked. And they're not the people that he wanted to use to teach the world. So as his children and as his people, we have a responsibility to fill the void. There's a void that's found in the hearts of men and women across this world that they need to be able to understand that the Most High is the only one who could fill the void. Because there's going to be voids. There's going to be empty spaces in our lives that the Most High wants to fill. And what do you fill those things with? What a lot of us in the past have filled those things with pleasure. A lot of us have filled those things with habits, things that were not really good for us. And I'm not just talking about sex and drugs. I'm talking about even the food that we eat or the mental things that we would think about ourselves. We suffer from low self-esteem, so we look for different ways to fill that void of acceptance and being appreciated, right? And so Yah says that this way, I want you to go in and enter, okay? That was a big part of our word, Tavo, meaning to enter. So when I have you enter into this land that I'm giving to you, I want you to do certain things. So this week you learn that Most High says, when you get there, you're going to give me the first fruits. You're going to provide for the Levi, the fatherless and the widow. And you're going to give a time of tithing. You're going to say these different things, that I told you to say to prove that I gave you the land, to prove that you did enter into the promise that I told you. You did come and fill the void. I'm filling your void with the food because your stomach is empty. So I'm going to give you somewhere. I'm going to fill the void by giving you houses that you didn't build. I'm going to fill the void by giving you vineyards that you didn't plant. I'm going to fill the void by filling your houses with the things that you never filled. That's the reason why in the Shema, he tells us these things. There's wells that were dug that you didn't dig. So why does he keep reminding us about everything that we didn't do when you come into this land? Simply to tell you that I'm trying to relieve you from the other work that you've done. If Yah is the one who's provided the houses that are there when they didn't have houses, and he's the one who planted the vineyards for them, and he did all these different things for them and gave those things to them when they would go into that land, what does he want the focus to be on? Does he want us to focus on building? Does he want us to focus on planting? What does he want us to focus on? He wants us to focus on him. He wants us to celebrate everything that comes from our hands. Then Moshe and all the leaders of Israel gave orders to the people. They said, observe all the mitzvot I'm giving you today. And when you cross the Jordan into the land that Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, you are to set up large stones and put plaster on them. And after crossing, write this Torah on them, every word, so that you can enter the land Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as Yahweh your Elohim of your ancestors, has promised you, so that you can enter the land. So that you can enter the land. That's that word bo right there. I want you to go into the land, but the only way that you can go into the land is you have to understand that the Torah is going to go before you. I want you to understand the Torah before you go to the land. I'm giving you the Torah before you enter the land. You going to the land does not make any sense. It's not going to be productive. It's not going to do you any good if you don't have the Torah. The Torah was designed for you so you can live in the land, so that you can enter the land. How does this apply to us today? It applies to us saying that what Yah has done in the beginning was, I brought you to the wilderness, gave you the Torah, had to kill your first generation, warn the second generation. They didn't listen to me. I promised and raised my hand, instead of killing them in the wilderness, I'll go ahead and send them out and scatter them among the nations. Okay, which is the people that are on Zoom today. Okay. I'm going to scatter you because you guys didn't do what I said. You said, well, that wasn't me, it was them. Well, if you understand the way Yah works, when he tells them, I'm going to scatter you, okay, to the nations, those individuals were never scattered. They went into the land. So who's he talking about? That's a whole nother subject we can get into later. He's saying once you go to this land, you need the Torah. In order for you to go into this land, you need to have the understanding of the Torah. Because there's some things that Yah says that you have to do, and there's things that Yah has to do. There's things that you have to do. There's things that you have to do, okay? But in this instance, I'm going to talk to you about the things that Yah is going to cause to happen, okay? First things first, therefore say to the people of Israel, I am Yahweh. I want you to, this is in Exodus chapter number 6, verse number 6. It begins with that I'm Yahweh. That's the first thing I want you to tell the people, that I'm Yahweh. I will cause you to come out from under the burdens of Egypt. You can't do this on your own. Not this. I'm not asking you to deliver yourself from out of your burdens. Listen to me carefully. Yah is not asking us to come from underneath the burdens ourselves. This is the work that you and I have been trying to do for years, and it hasn't worked. All the effort that we've been trying to do to get from under the oppression and get under the burdens of the people around us, and you didn't even know why you were suffering what you're suffering. Now you know. Yah's going to be the one that's going to deliver you from those burdens and oppression. Yah says, I will cause you to be rescued from your bondage or their bondage. There's no one else caused, no Christ, no other Messiah, nobody else has rescued Israel. Yah is the only one who can cause that to happen. See, so there's things that he's going to be able to do for us and cause, and there's things that we're going to have to do, okay? The idea behind something being causative is something that someone else will inspire or someone else will trigger. So when he talks about causing, Yah saying, I will cause these things to come about. When we talk about perfection, something that's done perfectly, within that same chapter, Yah went from a causative to something that's perfect, something that's complete. He says, I have redeemed you with an outstretched arm and great judgments. He's saying this to them in chapter number 6 of Exodus, but they didn't leave until chapter number 12 or 13. So why is he saying this? That he's already done this perfectly. Because in the mind of the Creator, when he speaks, okay, he speaks of things as though they are, and they haven't even happened yet. So when Yah speaks and he gives a command, it's as if it already happened. He knows it's going to happen. Everything that he says, you understand, is perfect, meaning that he doesn't need anybody else to make anything happen. If anything, if something's causative, that's just to give the time so you and I will know who's the inspiration behind it. Okay, so the perfection here is Yah's mind is saying that I have already redeemed you, past tense. So what are we to take from that? Right now, you and I are looking to be redeemed. That's how we see it. The Most High sees it as I've already redeemed you. So what are you saying? You're saying before I come into something and it's already as if I'm already there? Yes, you're already there. I think you said it, Lucas, earlier. I think you said it earlier, right? This is something that's been already planned. You understand? Your timing for you being on this class has already been planned. You hearing these words has already been planned. David said that my days have already been written out before you already know, before I even make a move. You already know what it is. You see? But it doesn't mean that you don't have any responsibility to what you're supposed to do. It just means that Yah has already made up his mind. I've already taken you to me for a people. That's in Exodus. So why is he mentioning in our Torah portion over in Deuteronomy that today you're agreeing? Not that Yah did not know that that was going to happen, but Yah has already made up his mind. When Yah would, like we read earlier, when the Most High made the nations, he already made up his mind that Israel is going to be a set apart people for me. Yah's mind is already made. It's already perfect. And I exist to you as an Elohim. That's perfect. And then you'll know. So it's not about Yah not knowing, it's about us not knowing. See, the time element, the reason why you and I are in time and he's not is because he's eternal, and you and I are operating in time. Okay. While we're in our time, he has set a limit for the soles of my feet. Praise the mighty Yah. We're in time. So there's a time element that surrounds what we know and what we don't know. But Yah says, then you'll know. When what? You'll know when you come to that point. You'll know when you go to the land. You'll know when I deliver you. You'll know that I'm Yahweh, your Elohim, who is causing you to come out from under the burdens of Egypt. You and I will never truly understand and know Yah until he does this. Everything that Yah is causing to happen, everyone, is so that you and I will come to know him. And I have brought you into the land that I swore by my hand to give to Eth, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. I put that Eth there because it's directly pointing an arrow to those individuals who are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yaakov. And I have given to you as an inheritance, I am Yahweh. That's the only way you and I are going to know that Yah is Yah, is by us receiving by the hand of Yah that which he swore to our fathers. I told them this, I told him this, and I told him this. I already told him. And I'm going to tell you, but you won't know it until I bring you. That's when, this is the key. That's when you'll know. That's when you'll know that I kept my promise. That's when you'll know that I am the God of your fathers. Right now, you and I don't know. We really don't. Elyon. There's another aspect of Elyon that I want you to understand. Because one is lifted high and one is above all other peoples, and one is the most high, and one is the one who's the teacher and the leader and the yoke and so forth. That individual is worthy of admiration and respect. So if Yah says that he's going to make us Elyon, if you and I were to do what he says, I'm going to cause people to admire you. I'm going to cause people to show you some respect. And you and I know that that's not the case today. If it is the case, then Yah says when it is the case, because what goes along with what goes along with admiration, what goes along with respect, what goes along with what they call dignity, warmth, and kindness, and someone looking at it and acclaiming us and appreciating us, then that's when you will be Baruch Atah. You probably heard this word before, or this saying called Baruch Atah. Baruch Atah. What does Baruch Atah mean? Somebody tell me if you know what Baruch Atah means.
Blessed be.
Blessed are you. Atah means you. R is implied. Baruch is blessed. Now we're going to find out what being Baruch is, because in your Torah portion, the Most High talks about blessings and he talks about cursings. Baruch has to do with one who is bending the knee. When one bends the knee, they come with a gift in hand. They hand someone a gift. They bend down and give a gift to show that they adore them and that they admire them and that they have respect to them. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu. Baruch atah Yahweh. What did I just say?
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, Eloheinu, our Elohim. Praise be to the mighty Yah. So when you and I say, blessed are you, Yahweh, you better bend your knee. You should drop to your knee. And if you don't have a gift of something that you could go bring to a temple to the Most High, you better have something to come out of your mouth. And what they would call that is praise. And what they would call that is admiration. And you better come with somehow you can adore him. It better be with a song. That's why David was singing those songs. It better be with a poem. It better be with a hymn. It better be with something. You have to come to Yah with something. Your obedience to Yah is wonderful, but it's expected. Your praise is a gift to the Most High. We have to learn how to Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu. We have to be able to bless the Most High Yah. And we can do that in several different ways. It means to bend your knee. So in the Torah, Yah talks about blessing us. It's all through there. Okay. And if you've done your Torah portion, you know exactly where you can find these blessings. Chapter number 27, you find all the curses, just about the first half of the curses. So if you listen closely to what Yahweh your Elohim says, guarding and obeying all his mitzvos, which I'm giving you today, Yahweh your Elohim will raise you high above all the nations of the earth. And all the following blessings will be yours in abundance if you will do what Yahweh your Elohim says. Davarim, question mark, what chapter? Where are the blessings found in the book of Davarim? Open book test. Where's the blessings at? What chapter? Is it chapter 26? What chapter is it? Somebody tell me.
28, I think.
28. The first 15 verses.
There you go. Chapter number 28. That's where you're going to find the blessings of the Most High. Okay. And we're going to define that. So what we see is the Most High says is these things are going to be yours in abundance, meaning I'm going to put it on you, meaning this word abundance means it's going to overtake you. Okay. It's going to grab hold of you. Okay. It's going to reach out to you. I'm going to reach you. They're going to reach and they're going to overtake you. Just like an enemy would. Just like a flood would. So Yah says, I'm going to reach you with these blessings. It's going to overtake you. You're going to be overwhelmed. That's what he's saying. Okay. I'm going to overwhelm you. Okay. So let's find out what that is. All right. So don't get intimidated by what you see here. They're nothing but letters. They're nothing but images, nothing but colors. Okay. It says, Uva'ul de Aleka, the call the Ha Bavrakoth, the Ha Ele, the Wahis Guka, for the key, the Tishma, the Bekola Yahweh Eloheka. Okay. What I said was this. You find when you look at this, I just want to draw your attention to what we're looking at. When you look at what I just said, there's our word ba. Okay. That means to come or to go. Okay. So, and you will go. Okay. And what will come? So what's going to come upon? And this right here is upon them, which we found out was to yoke. That's a yoke. Remember, I'm going to put this on you when this yoke comes upon you. Listen. When it's okay. So listen, I'm showing you the Hebrew. When this and will come on you guys, upon, above, on you. Okay, I'm gonna put this on you. That ka right there is you talking about the palm. And he says all, that means everything. Every last one of the habaraka koth, which is the blessings. Okay. All these blessings, ha'ele. And so he's going to point you to these blessings. That's what ele means. It means these. His pen is tripping. When these blessings, there's certain blessings that are coming to you at a certain place at a certain time. And then he says they're going to hisiguka. Okay, the hisiguka is they're going to overtake you when you what? When you tishma. When you listen to what I'm saying, you right here, Shema. When you listen to the Bakol of Yahweh your Eloheka. When you listen to my voice. then these blessings, all of them, will come upon and above you. So it's imperative for you to listen to my voice, because if you don't listen to my voice, then this is going to happen to you. Here's the Baruch Atah. Now, a lot of us may want to add to this and make it something else. You want to add? What the number one rule the Most High says, don't add or take away from any of the words that I said. Okay. Baruch atah, right there. In Hebrew, again, Baruch atah. Baruch atah bavoecha. When you come into, okay, it's going to be upon you. And Baruch atah when you go out. When you come and when you go. You understand? When it comes out of you, there's a blessing on you when you come, and there's a blessing on you when you go. If you know, the atah right here is you singular. It means you as one individual person, not a whole bunch. I'm not blessing. This is for the individual. Okay. Moses is talking to the individual. Okay. Because some people were not going to do what Yah says and others are. So he makes it clear, whoever decides that they want to do this and listen to me, when they come and when they go, this is what's going to be for them. When you come into the city, you're going to be blessed. And when you go out of the city, you're going to be blessed. When you come into the fields, you're going to be blessed. And when you leave the fields and you go from the fields, you're going to be blessed. When you listen, when you, the fruit of your body, when the male, listen, when he goes into his woman and he comes out of her, will be a blessing. Not only for that, but also to the land. When you put a seed in the land, when the seed comes into the land, it will go out a blessing out of the land. When the animals, when they would come together, they would leave that, and then something will come out of them as well. Something's going to go from them. Then once all these things happen, right? Then he says, then your grain basket and your kneading bowls are going to be blessed. So what Yah's directly connecting the blessings to is that which happens in the land and what happens within your body and what happens with your livestock. That's where it's at. Okay. So this is not what you would say abstract. Okay. These are literal, concrete things that you can actually see, touch, smell, and everything. It's not abstract as what you think. Yah's not telling you about how you think of what a blessing is. I told you what it is. So if you're going around telling everybody that you're blessed, then you don't understand what's going on in the book of Deuteronomy. So if you mistranslate Deuteronomy 28 and you want it to be a car, or you want it to be a house, or you want it to be any of those things that Yah has not specified. They had houses that Yah had already gave to them. That's not included. Gold and silver is not included. That's not included. Money is not included. It's not included. He didn't mention these things. He did not mention money, gold, silver, houses. He didn't mention any of those things. He didn't mention clothes. He didn't mention that. Hairstyle. He didn't mention none of that. He mentioned the things that pertain to you and the land. Talking about what comes out your body. So there's this ecosystem with the city and the fields and the body and the land and the livestock. They all share something in common. And what they share in common is a matter of planting a seed. Okay, that's what I want you to do. And then after you do that, it's gonna grow, and then there will be a harvest. You understand? So that's what it's about. So these are the elements of a blessing: planting, okay, sowing, growing, and harvest in every area of their lives. You understand? So that's the blessing, okay, the true blessing. So Baruch atah, the bavoeka, when you come, and uvuruk, or uvuruk means again, uvuruk ata, the vatsitika, meaning when it comes out of you. Uvuruk ata. So the question is are we blessed? According to what Yah said. You only have to agree with the text and say, not at this time. Why is that important for you to acknowledge that you're not blessed at this time? According to Yah's blessing, is simply because you would understand, if I'm not blessed, then surely I must be under a curse. That's unless you want to minimize Yah's blessings. And then you want to add your own, and then you can deny the fact that you're in a state of going underneath the curses. Okay, Yahweh will establish you as a people separated kadosh for himself, as he has sworn to you. If you will guard the commandments of Yahweh and follow his ways, then all the people on earth will see that Yahweh's name, his presence is with you, so that they will be afraid of you. You mean Yah wants everybody to be afraid of us? Yes. Yah wants everybody to see that Yah's name, his presence is with you? Yes. So when Yah talks about his name and his presence, the only way that can be associated with Yah's name and his presence is with the blessings. That's the only way. So going back to what Yah says, then you will know that I'm Yahweh, is when you're in your land. That's the reason why he told him in chapter number 26, when you get to this land, you are supposed to go and bring the first fruits to prove that I'm with you, to show that I blessed you. If you don't have a basket in your hand, you're not walking up to the place where the Kohanim is standing, then you and I are not blessed. If that place is the Hamakom, does not have Yahweh's name, that he's placed his name there, his name is not dwelling there, then you're not blessed. If you don't have substance for your own land and inheritance that you can share with your tithes and your offerings to the fatherless and the widow and the Lawim, you're not blessed. So let's stop playing games. Yahweh will give you great abundance of good things. Great abundance of good things. Of what? The fruit of your body. That's in context. The fruit of your livestock, the fruit of your land. In the land, Yahweh swore to your ancestors to give you. What Yahweh swore to give to your ancestors is throughout the whole entire Torah portion. It's abundantly mentioned. Okay. Yahweh will open for you his good treasure, the sky, to give your land its rain at the right season and bless everything you undertake. So what Yah says, that we're a special treasure to him. We're a unique treasure. Yah has a treasure. This word treasure right here, I didn't have a Hebrew word up for it, but this word treasure right here has to do with something about being to bind something or to put pressure. Okay. I said, well, how does that relate to you talking about a treasure? Well, he says it's a storehouse. What Yah has done is he's stored up. A storehouse is something that you've taken storage. So Yah has stored up rains in storage, waiting to give it at its right season. So when Yah's talking about giving someone a blessing, he's literally talking about giving them the rain that they need to bless everything you undertake. So the rain is a blessing. That's a blessing too. You never hear anybody talk about the blessing of the rain. They hate the rain. Oh, I can't get out and do what I want to do today. They don't even appreciate the rain. And here's the thing about this. It's the rain that's from Yah for this in particular land. The rains that are coming over here are different than the rains that are happening on his land. They're not the same rain. They're not. I need you to hear what I'm saying. The Creator himself has designed and designated a certain rain for his land. That's his treasure, for his treasure people, to bless everything you undertake to do. So if you're not in your land and you're not experiencing this rain, you're not blessed. The rain is directly connected to the regulations and the commandments. Listen to what he said. If you live by my regulations, observe my commandments, and obey them, then I will provide the rain. I will, for you, that you need in its season. The land will yield its produce, and the trees will yield their fruit. So they're only going to operate, they're only going to do what they're supposed to do after I will. I do this, I give this, and then the land will then, and then the field will. Not you. So you're not causing the rain, you're not causing the land, you're not causing the fields to yield. That yielding there is to give. This right here, produce, means to come, because produce comes out of the ground, and they use the same word, bo. It's actually called Tavo. You see? So Yah is the cause. Yah is the cause of the seasons. Yah is the cause of the blessing. Because once you get this blessing, you're going to fill your basket, and you're going to come and you're going to kneel before the Most High. So are we literally giving Yah the blessing that he really wants? Not at this time. You're tearing me down, Akika. Good. We need to be torn down. Because guess what? At this moment, the world understands that we're torn down. It's the crimes of our ancestors that cause us to be torn down. So don't be mad because I'm telling you that you're not blessed. Brother Kent brought out the fact that people used to be in this class. They left the class because I told them this. I told them this, and their feelings got hurt because they wanted to be blessed. They felt like they were blessed because they can go to Safeway and go grab a bag of groceries and call that being a blessing. That's how far off they are. They thought they were blessed because they were able to go to a gas station and put some gas in their car. Because that's how Christianity has defined blessing. So the world and the nations have a different definition, and they have a different understanding what a blessing is. Israel's mindset has to be around what Yah says and not what you think. The sky over your head will be brass, you found in your Torah portion, and earth underneath you, iron. Yahweh will turn the rain your land needs into powder. So what are you saying? Yah can turn your rain into powder and dust that will fall on you from the sky until you are destroyed. They don't even know where our land is. They claim that land over there is Israel, and that's where the Most High is, and that's where the people are, and so forth and so on. But I can show you countless scriptures that say there won't be no violence in the land when you're there. I can show you where he says there's nobody that's not righteous that's there. No unrighteous person is going to ever enter that land. He says that no uncircumcised person will ever enter you again. So why is that the capital of homosexuality? Why is there a whole bunch of oppression and how oppressing the Palestinians and kicking out the Ethiopians and so forth and so on? Why is there a lot of violence and war and gates and barbed wire and soldiers? You really think that's the land? That's not the land. That's just not the land. Nobody knows where the land is. Yah has covered it. So you don't even know where it's at. Why? Because you're exiled. And in your exile, Yah says when they come to the nations they're going, because he already told us that this was going to happen because they wouldn't listen to what he says. They profane my Kadosh name, my set apart name, so that the people said to them, these are Yahweh's people who have been exiled from his land. You see? So we're not this Elyon. We're people who have profaned Yah's name. How's his name being profaned? His name is being profaned because you and I are saying that, hey, I'm blessed. I just got a brand new job, girl. They finally gave me my letter. I'm blessed. Girl, you just got blessed. Look at that car. Such and such gave you. Yeah, how much you paying? $700 a month. I'm blessed. Look at this building I just opened up for the Most High. Well, how much is the lease? Oh, it's $6,000 a month. But you're blessed. You're blessed, but you're paying other people. You're blessed, but you got to put insurance on. You're blessed. Really? Go ahead, Zanya.
I just, yes, the Most High, he talks about in Yashayahu that this is a land of idols, and Yirmiyuhu, just about how filthy this place is. And so, It always made perfect sense to me, which you said about blessings and just in general about how the Most High says He has to cleanse us,
Yes.
that cleansing process that we most must go through. But I do look to see sometimes if the curses upon me and my family are abating sometimes. I do look to that. I must admit, I do look to that, Toda.
Well, Toda, he doesn't, but he does tell us in Deuteronomy 30, and give you a little comfort. He does say that if you and your family turn back to me, he'll reverse the curses, right? So the curses, but the ultimate blessing will never, ever happen until you get back to the land. And that's just what it is. We're his people. So we don't get to define what blessing is. That's what he's trying to get us to see. He says, but I'm concerned about my Kadosh name. Yah is definitely concerned about his name, which is his reputation, right? Which the house of Israel is profaning among the nations where they have gone. So anytime the Yah is talking about anything that has to do with what we're doing, simply by us being here and wearing the clothes that you have on today is profaning Yah's name. Because you're supposed to be a set apart people. You're an embarrassment to the Most High. Let me rephrase that. We are an embarrassment to the Most High because we're not Elyon. We're not admired. We're not thought of highly. We're not respected. You understand? Our food is contaminated. Our water is contaminated. Our minds are contaminated. So we have to stop playing games. Yah is being insulted all the time. There's insults that go along with this. That word insult is called na'atz. And na'atz means to do a spark. Okay. And you might as well go, okay, well, what has that got to do with an insult? Well, insult has to do with this idea of causing a spark. Okay. So once you hit something, all the different colors come off of it, like a flower, a petal of flowers. You spark something, when you hit it really hard, all the different colors come off of it. If you hit a piece of metal, all the different colors will come off it as sparks. And that's from you slamming something on it or hitting something very hard. Okay. And so the Most High is saying that when you guys are profaning my name, it's literally like you're causing sparks. Right. And when anyone causes a spark, that means that sooner or later, you keep hitting it long enough, you're going to trigger a fire. Okay. So this blaspheming of Yah's name, okay, of his name being insulted, he says, so now, he said, what should I do here, asked Shabbat? Since my people were carried off for nothing, their oppressors are howling. Like we got them, says Yahweh. And my name is always being insulted. It's always na'atz. They're always sparking me. They're always slamming on it every day, daily, not once a week, daily, all the time. Therefore, my people will know my name. When? Therefore, on the day that they will know that I am the one speaking, here I am. So Yah is saying that you and I will know him again when he moves in his area of salvation. Here I am. Yes, Lasagna. Yes, Akoti. Here I am. When? On that day. What day? The day of salvation. When I bring you back to your land, then you're going to know my name. Then you're going to know that I'm the one who delivered you. Then you're going to know the holiness of me. Then you're going to know I'm set apart. After I deal with your oppressors. After I deal with the people who took you for nothing. After I deal with the fact that I'm being insulted every day, that's not going to happen. So every day, since the time that you left until now, you're the reason why these people are sparking me. How you've been living has sparked me, has made me angry. I'm mad. There's conversations that are going on. I want to talk to you about it. Tehillim 69, 1-2 says, this is what David said. He said, cause me to be saved, Elohim. For I have come up the waters to my neck. That word come right there is bow. I have sinked into the deep mire where there is no standing. I have come into the deep waters where the floods have overflowed me. So it's not just blessing can come upon us. It's not only the cursing can come upon us, but there's other things, there's difficulties and challenges that come upon us that can come. And when we talk about bow, David's talking about what's coming on him. But if you know if it's coming upon him, then obviously it's going to have an effect. The mire that he's talking about is the mud. And I asked myself, well, what is the mud? Right? Listen to this. He says, those who hate me for no reason outnumber the hairs on my head. My persecutors are powerful. My enemies accuse me falsely. Am I expected to return things I didn't steal? I cannot begin to tell you when I had my own business and I sold one of my businesses to a person that individual accused me of stealing from him when I left the business. Stealing products, stealing inventory, stealing this, stealing that. That's what he accused me of. And the reason why he accused me of that is simply because when he mailed off for his inventory, he forgot to change the address and sent it to my other location. And I got his information and I got the products. And I called him. I said, hey, I got this stuff over. He said, well, where'd you get it? I said, I just wanted to return it. He came to me. He said, no, you took it from me. And he went on this whole thing about me stealing from him. And I didn't take anything from him. So I can relate to what David is talking about. These are conversations that the people are having about you. You don't even know. How many people did this man say that I robbed him? How did he like disrespect me and show people like, this guy is untrustworthy. Now my name has been blasphemed. I've been insulted. So Yah's not only being insulted, you're being insulted. Yah says, rescue me from the mud. Who's the mud? What is the mud? Don't let me sink. Let me be rescued from those who hate me. That's the mud. The rescue has to come from the people who are having these conversations about you. Those who hate you are the ones that you're feeling like you're in the mud. You're stuck. You're in distress and you have no other solution. David understood that he had to call on the Most High because he was coming from in deep water. He was stuck. He says, don't let the flood waters overwhelm me. Just like a blessing can overwhelm you, so could the flood waters, so could the challenges and the distress and the problems of life and what people are saying about you, about your reputation. That can be very overwhelming when people are lying on you. That can hurt you to your core. He says, don't let the deep swallow me up and don't let the pit close its mouth over me. Because he was being insulted by those who hated him. And they hated him, and the number of them hated him more than the hairs on his head. That was a lot. There's always going to be conversations, and there's always going to be insults. And so for your sake, I suffer insults. For whose sake? Yah's sake. Now, no one on here can't tell me that you haven't suffered any insults for following Yah. You can't tell me that shame hasn't covered your face. You can't tell me that your family hasn't abandoned you. I'm estranged from my brothers as an alien to my mother's children because the zeal of your house is eating me up. On me are falling the insults of those insulting you. On me. When you tell them I keep the Shabbat, insult. When you tell them I don't eat fish or catfish and shrimp and lobster, insults. You tell them that you wear your beard because it's such and such, insult. You tell them to keep the Moedims, insult. You're stupid. Why are you doing that? I can't do that. These things are falling on us because they are the ones that came on Yah. There's a cost of being with Yah. And the cost of walking with Yah is to have this idea of being estranged from the people that you thought loved you. I can attest that my brothers and my sister don't even have nothing to do with me. Not for any other reason, but because I follow the Most High. I'm an alien to my mother's children. No matter what goes on, they don't have nothing to do with me. Nothing. Not only my mother's children, but my mother's family's children. Nothing to do with me. Because what? Because Yah's zeal of Yah's house. Because I care, when it talks about Yah's house, David understood something. David wrote this psalm, everyone, and the temple wasn't even yet built. So what is he talking about? Yah's house. What he's talking about is Yah's family. What he's talking about is Yah's rulings for his family. He's talking about his judgments for his family. He's talking about Yah's ways. He's talking about the diet. He's talking about the Shabbat. He's talking about Yah's order on how Yah runs his house. When you and I want to live the way that Yah caused us to live, you're going to suffer insults. And you're going to find that you are in the mud of conversation. It's happening because you love Yah. He wants you to know it. So the question is, should you pray for your enemies? Should you pray for your enemies? You know, the New Testament told you to pray for them, didn't it? Didn't it say pray for those who despitefully misuse you? Pray for those, the ones who slap you in the face, you take the hit and keep going, don't say anything. The one who puts a burden on you for a mile, you go even 2 miles, you even endure that. You go even further. I want to share something with you today. I want to show you the way that Yah has oppressed upon a man who loved Yah, who had a heart after Yah's own heart. Same chapter about the mud and the people and the ones who hate him. He says this: pour out your fury on them and let your fierce anger overtake them. Who's them? My oppressors, those who hate me. I'm not praying for my enemies. I'm going to ask Yah to pour fury on them. I'm going to ask Yah to destroy the wicked. I'm going to ask Yah to let his anger overtake them. I'm also going to ask Yah to let the place where they live be desolate. I want you to destroy their family. Since the zeal of your house is why they're insulting me, I want you to destroy their family. I want you to destroy their house. I want you to bring their house to ruin with no one to live in their families, in their tents. The bet. For persecuting someone you have already stricken and for adding pain to those you've wounded. They've gone too far. There has been enough pain and enough beating and enough discipline from Yah. We've already been hurt enough. So why is it that they want to continue to add more pain to that which has already been wounded? Why that not only is my body broken, but you're going to try to break my soul too? I'm not even in my land. I'm trying to do the right thing, and you want to keep adding pain to me? And I'm already wounded? Add guilt to their guilt and don't let them enter, which is our Hebrew word for today called bo or Tavo. Don't let them come into your land. Don't let them enter into your righteousness. Don't be concerned about their family. Don't be concerned about their children. Don't. Erase them. What? David said erase them. From what? From the book of life. That don't sound like Christ to me, does it? That don't sound like a nice Christian, does it? He says, let them not be written with the righteous. So where are the righteous written? They're written in the book of life. That's where the righteous are written. You follow Yah, that's where your name is. So the implication is, if you are hating someone and you're being mean to someone and you're wounding someone, trust me. David says, erase them from the book of life. If you're not following the right path, you're going to get erased out of the book of life. And that's something we don't want to be, we don't want anybody to tell us. We want to just think it's going to keep going and we have nothing to worry about. This is a big one right here. So I'm not praying for my enemies. So let me ask you a question. Should I befriend the wicked? Should you befriend the wicked?
Nope.
Should you make an alliance with the wicked? Should you find support for the wicked and try to be helpful to the wicked? Should you help the wicked and befriend those who hate Yahweh?
No.
Because of this, Yahweh's anger is upon you. 2 Chronicles 19:2. You find out all kind of nuggets when you look at when he talking about helping somebody, supporting and befriending them. Why would you support and befriend someone who hates Yah? What do you mean they hate Yah? They've turned away from the Most High. I'll say it live on TV, on YouTube. I've warned my children that if they ever turn from the Most High, they're an enemy of mine. And I will treat them as such. Because I'm not going to help those who hate Yah. I'm not. And the reason being is not only because I'm righteous, because of course they tell you can't achieve any righteousness. Yes, you can. It's simply because Yah is so kind and so good, even to the wicked. Yah doesn't want the wicked to perish. Isn't that what he says? Yes, Azanya. Dawid said, don't I hate those who hate you? Yes, we're getting there, sis. You understand? Don't befriend the wicked. Don't have them around you. Don't support them. Don't do anything with them. The reason why Dawid said his mother's children were estranged from him is simply because he had a zeal for Yah. They make that choice. They did that. You didn't do that. And what he's saying is, as a righteous person, you don't need to make excuses for the wicked. Stop trying to hold on to them. Because they're insulting your God and your Elohim and your King, the one who you bow down and bend the knee and give prayer and thanks to. The fear of Yahweh is hatred. Of evil. I hate pride and arrogance and evil's ways and duplicitous speech. I hate duplicitous speech. I hate the double talk. Yeah, I was thinking about keeping the Shabbat. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, I'm just trying to, figure some stuff out, but I do appreciate your religion, though. You see? Hate it. Look at what Dawid said. How I hate those who hate you. I feel disgust with those who defy you. I hate them with perfect, or where we had today, meaning past tense. I don't need to future hate them. I hate them now, and it's done. My hatred for them is done. My hatred for them is what I would say. Let's write it out so we can all understand. My hatred is complete. It's completed. I've already made up my mind. I'm not going to fiddle fart with this. I'm not going to vacillate between trying to understand them, trying to get to love them. Love your enemies. Love those who hate you. Love those who persecute you. That's not what Dawid said. A man after Yah's own heart. This word defy here, I tripped off when I saw it. I was like, why would they use this word defy? That word right there in Hebrew means kum. That's the root of it, okay? And kum means to raise, or it means another word for raise, or to establish, okay? Or to lift themselves up against you, who will come up against. Those who are coming up against you as an enemy, those who have decided to raise up against you, raise up against your words, raise up against your Torah, come against you. It ain't just those who defy Yah, it's those who lifted themselves up against the Most High Yah. That hatred has to be complete. That hatred ain't emotional. That hatred is turning away from these people. You cannot walk on the path of righteousness and the path of wickedness just so you can establish and hold on to a relationship with somebody that hates the creator of the heavens and the earth. Because they look like you, or they came from your body, or they came out your mother's womb, or they're your father's son or daughter, or because they gave you a cup of hot cocoa, so you just don't want to lose the relationship. You'll take a human being over Yah? You'll take a man over the Most High? You'll take a filthy human being that doesn't want any changes in their life. You'll take a person that says there is no God. Or you'll take a woman who worships another God. Because you want a relationship, because you really believe that that's love. They have become my enemies too. Anybody that raises themselves up against the Most High Yah is an enemy. And if they're his enemy, they should be yours too. I ain't talking about no religious enemy. I'm talking about people who decided that they don't want to do what he says. The same Elohim that provided the waters and the sky and the moon and the sun and the seasons and the fruit and the vegetables is the same one that they raised themselves up against. The same one who established marriage is the same one that they raised themselves up against. The same one that allowed them to come out of the womb and see this wonderful earth is the same one that raised up against them. The same ones that he brought out of the land of Mizraim is the same ones that raised up against him in the wilderness. The same ones that he fed and clothed and their shoes didn't wear out is the same ones that raised up against him. Those are the ones. He can save your life and you'll turn around and go against him. I know people like this. They're my enemies. In your Torah portion, the Most High talks about a whole bunch of curses. One of the curses that stood out to me wasn't found in 28. The one that really got me was this one. A curse on anyone who does not confirm the words of this Torah. By putting them into practice, all the people are to say Amen. That word confirm right there is the same word that is used for defy. It means somebody that doesn't cum. The person who hasn't established or raised up or lifted up. If you don't lift up the Torah, you are an enemy of Yah's. If you haven't established the Torah, you are an enemy of the Most High Yah. The same word, same root. If you don't lift this up, if you don't write this on those stones that I just told you about, if you're not teaching them to your children, and if you're adding to what I said or take away from what I said, you're an enemy of the Most High. If you're a man that won't sit and teach your children, you're an enemy of the Most High. You're an enemy of the Most High. Anybody that denies what the Most High has said is an enemy of the Most High. Because you raised yourself up above the Torah of Yahweh, which is the words of the living Elohim. Yisrael is guilty of these things. All these curses will come. There's that bow. That's that bet and that aleph. That's that strong house. That's somebody coming in. That's that feeling. That's that void. If you and I remove the Torah from out of our lives, there is a void that has to be filled with something. If it's not filled with the Torah and the blessing, it's going to be filled with the curse. The curses are not only going to be on you, they're going to be in you. I'm not only going to curse your land, I'm going to curse your body. Because that's what you come from the earth. It's consistent. I'm going to curse that comes out of your body, which is your sons and your daughters. Until you humble yourself and stop coming against me. These curses are going to chase you. They're going to chase you and overtake you until you are destroyed. My blessing to come upon you. My blessings could be in your body. My blessings could do that, but also too, my curses. They'll chase you down too. They're going to overwhelm you until you are destroyed. Why? Because you didn't pay attention to what your Yahweh, your Elohim has said. That's why. Because you wouldn't shema. That's what that word pay attention means. Because you wouldn't listen. Because you wouldn't obey what he said. Because you weren't listening to what he said. You were listening to what Peter, James, and John said. You were listening to the church fathers of Europe. You were listening to these wannabe rabbis. You were listening to these wannabe priests. You were listening to them instead of listening to what I told you. You're not observing his commandments and his regulations that he gave you. This is what you're going to get. You are going to be overwhelmed and destroyed. It's hard to talk about these things. It is. And just like I got this passion and this fire in my stomach and in my mind for what I'm saying, it's the same passion I have for me, myself, and my family, and they know it. We all need to adopt this mindset because what we're talking about is life and death. So it's not a plaything, everybody. This is not a game for us. We don't have the respect of the nations. We don't have the appreciation. We haven't made any contributions outside of the things that we've made with our hands that are being used and taken advantage of. We've never benefited from. We're not put on this earth to entertain people. We're put on this earth to teach people. That's why we're put on this earth. That's why we've been called as a special people. That's why. There's no other reason for us to exist if we're not following the Torah. Am I saying there's no good people out here? No, I'm saying there's good people, but they just got bad information. They're being misled. They got misinformation. Does it mean that you follow them? No. You stand by your Elohim. You take a side and you figure out what it is that you want to do. Do you want to be with them or do you want to be with Yah? All praise and appreciation and honor, majesty and power be given to our Creator, our master, our king, our redeemer, our savior, our power, our shield, our guide, our teacher, our provider, our husband, our father. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Are there any contributions before I bring you into your final part of your study today?
I just have one observation from was it Isaiah? Isaiah what?
60?
Yeah, the comment about flying like a cloud. Just thinking of modern day is just an interesting thing to have written in the text.
You see my dove?
Yeah.
Yes. The ships of Tarshish, bring my sons and my daughters home. Only the righteous are coming in here, and they're the only people that are going to ever walk into Yerushalayim. We follow the Most High. You get to go be in the presence of Yah. People will fear you not just because, oh, I'm scared. They're going to be like, these people right here are the people of the Most High. So whatever they're talking about, we need to be listening. So we can learn how to live. It's not always about just dying. It's about how you live. Praise be to the living Elohim. I'm going to go ahead now and give this wonderful presentation that we have for those who I want you to participate in cahoots. I do. I want you to do your cahoots with us right now. Let me see. I want you to start cahoots. Can you see my screen? Ken? Let's see here. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. Wonderful. Yeah, we have to get our minds wrapped around the idea of what Yah is talking about. You know, if we're going to be these people, you know, the Elyon, because that's how he sees it. Go ahead. We will be having class today in Hebrew as well, and that's going to be interesting. That's going to be cool. All right, you guys, go ahead, join up.
I don't know if it's going to be a good week for me
That
here. But I'm here.
you don't know if it's going to be a good week.
So I haven't been as studious this week as I should be, but I'm here.
Oh, but no, that's okay. Let's, you know, we all fall off. I do. I know that for sure.